Hi there, my name is Carissa with Reformed Acres, and today we are going to be setting up our chick brooder system. We've got some chicks coming in the mail tomorrow, so it's really important that we have this all set up for them. And I have done this more times than I can count, more times than I can remember in the past couple years. So this is actually a really simple process. Once you have all the right tools and the system in place, it goes really quickly. It's honestly probably just going to take me a little bit more time because I'm explaining it. But the first thing that I want to talk about is your actual tub. So you'll see a lot of different things that people will brood chicks in. Some people will even do it in a cardboard box. You can get as creative or cheap or fancy or whatever as you want, but we have found this tub to be really sturdy. So this is from Tough Stuff, the brand. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, actually I am. So it's an 110-gallon tub. This is big enough to bathe a large dog in if you need to, and it's definitely big enough for some chicks. So when we've got meat birds, they're only in this for about a week. They grow so fast, but we do like to keep them in this tub and keep them contained because, as you can see, we are in our chicken tractor, and this is where we like to start our chicks. This is where we have the chicks until the day that they are processed. But our ground is not super level. So until they get to that point where they're not going to be slipping under the tractor and getting eaten by our livestock guardian dog, until they get to that point, we want them in the brooder. Now, I like this particular tub a lot because, like I said, it's very big, it's very high, so they're not going to be jumping out or anything. Plenty of room for the heat plate, the food, the water for them to walk around. And also it fits through the door of my tractor. So that's pretty important. I do have to put it on its side, but it definitely fits. So we're going to be filling this up with pine shavings, and then I'll talk to you about the things that we're going to stage in here so that it's ready for the birds tomorrow. So these are the pine shavings that we like, just whatever you can get from your feed store. You really don't want to overcomplicate this process. You're going to do fine. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to fill this with a nice layer of pine shavings. And the reason for that is we do not want the chicks to slip and fall on that kind of smooth bottom. It's also going to soak up all of their manure and urine and things like that. But you want a nice good layer. Now, I would just dump these pine shavings out, but they're pretty well packed in here. It is very impressive how much are in these cubes. So I'm just taking out handfuls, and we are just going to cover the bottom until you can no longer see the bottom. We just wanted to get a nice good layer in there. So the way that this is going to work as the days go on is that each day, once or twice a day, we will just add more pine shavings on top of what's already here. It's called the deep litter method. And so instead of cleaning this out at all during the time that the chicks are in here, we are just going to keep adding more and more pine shavings on top, giving them a clean layer that they can be on always. And then when we're done with the tub and the chicks go on the grass, all of this can go to the compost. So it's really nice because we're not wasting any of it, but we're also not wasting effort by cleaning this out and reapplying new ones. You're just adding new pine shavings to cover all of the urine and all of the manure each day or twice a day as the chicks get bigger, and then you're good to go. So it's very, very easy to keep this maintained. I will just keep the pine shavings in here. So the next things that we need are some containers for food and water. And these are not filled up yet. I will have these filled before we get the chicks tomorrow morning. But this is my favorite type of container. It's kind of chewed up. This one is, so you can tell we use it. But I really love these. These are much better, in my opinion, than the food containers that are more shaped like this. You fill with the food and then you flip it and the food's in the circle. I just feel that the chicks get the food everywhere in something like those types of containers. So I really like the long ones with the multiple holes where they can get food out. And so this is what we will fill with food, and we will have this in there ready for them. And then this is the water container. You want something that's small like this and kind of low to the ground because the chicks are not very big, so they can't handle a large water container. And you also want to make sure that these areas are not very big. You don't want to get them a full-size chicken water container because chicks are kind of dumb and you don't want to give them space where they could fall into the water and drown. So I believe this one is maybe a 2-quart. But just a chick water like this will do you good. And so I will have this filled up and this filled with water before they get here. I'll probably do that with my kids later tonight. And the last thing that you want to make sure that you have is some type of heat source. And from the very beginning, we have always used a heat plate instead of a heat lamp. So hopefully you can see this, but the way that this works is these feet are adjustable. And so this is much too high for little chicks, but we would adjust this down. And when the chicks are little, they will just go under this heat plate and it will sort of simulate how they would be under their mama hen if they needed to get warm. And as they grow, the heat plate can be raised. So I find this to be really, really awesome. We've had this for all of our chicks. They're very, very durable. I'll have everything linked below that we are using, but I absolutely love this because it's just so easy to adjust versus adjusting the height of a heat lamp and all of the safety issues that can go with that. So we have really, really loved having a heat plate. There are two more things that I wanted to mention that seem really self-explanatory, but you want to make sure that you don't forget them. And the first thing is some type of power source for your heat lamp or your heat plate. So for us, we have this in a field next to our house, so we have to run an extension cord out here. But you need to make sure that you have a way to power whatever it is that you're using to heat your chicks. And that kind of brings us to the next thing. It's that the chicks need some type of shelter. So here we're inside our 8-foot by 10-foot chicken tractor, and we have this configured in the meat bird configuration. So we've taken out the nesting boxes, we've taken out the roosting bars that is in our egg layer tractor. And so our brooder fits really well in here. It's really nice because the whole operation can be contained in here, and I don't have to have them in my house. But if that is what you have where you're at, it's cold outside or you don't have another space, you just need to think about where you're actually going to put this brooder. Whether it's this or something much smaller, you need to have a place in your house, a shed, a chicken coop, a tractor, something like that, where you can easily care for these chicks, check on them often, and have that power source for your source of heat. That's really the short and sweet of it. It is actually really simple to set up for chicks, and they don't require a lot. They just need some type of brooder container, food, water, a heat source, some pine shavings or other material to line the bottom of a brooder, and an overall shelter that's easy for you to take care of them and ideal for the chicks as far as ventilation and safety. If you would like me to show you more about our chicken tractor and how we can convert it from meat birds to egg layers, I would be more than happy to do that. Just let me know down in the comments below. But until next time, I hope that you guys are having a great day. I hope that this was helpful, and I will see you in the next video.